I want to take a minute or two.
Please.
I know that we've talked about this before, and I'm really excited to make the announcement that I've created a company called Crown Global Media. My idea and vision for Crown Global Media is we're just going to create the best content for our audience. And like I say, whether you're into the Dallas Cowboys, the National Football League, there's things we're going to do with that, with college football, and also with fantasy football as well. So we're going to kind of be your one-stop shop at Crown Global Media. It's going to be worth everything, your attention on it. And just, Voch, like I said, I really look forward to working with you and working with others as we get this going.
And we are back. Bryan Broaddus. I can't even say we are back because this is the inaugural episode
Yeah.
of the Doing All Right here at the beloved Crown Global Media headquarters. Bryan Broaddus, I'm looking around.
Yeah.
I see a lot of technology here.
Yeah.
I see some people in the back. We have an audience over there. We have a beautiful logo behind us. The watch, the pocket square, the salmon, the bow tie, the Crown Global lapel pins. Bryan Broaddus, we are ready
Yes.
to get started on this new venture of ours. I saw your trailer yesterday.
How about that?
It was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And you could feel the energy of people ready to see us do this thing, Bryan.
Yeah, and it's funny. We were it's been a long journey.
Sure.
It has, and and there's just been so many things that we've had to cross along the way, Voch. But the one thing that we haven't had to cross is the fact that you and I work really well together.
Yes, sir.
And I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to do this on a daily basis.
Yes,
I
sir.
really do.
Hey, Bryan,
Means the world to me, man. It means it's nice to be
to reach you.
to be right across from me and actually reach you here today. Oh no, here we go, right off the jump.
Man, Bryan, I had an idea last night, Bryan. I just had a thought in my mind as I was getting ready for the inaugural Doing All Right podcast, Bryan. We could just come up here and come up with our own thoughts and ideas and topics, but boy, we would be nothing without our beloved audience, that's
True.
been putting so much time into it, so much, all the comments, all the feedback that, we've been getting. So I said, let me just open up the floor for them, open up the platform for them.
Sure.
I wanted our people to, not my people, Bryan, our audience, our people,
our people,
to ask some questions, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, all right?
Okay.
So I reached out. I got 100 some odd responses because when you trade Micah Parsons, people get curious. But Bryan, I think I curated some good stuff here. So are you ready, sir?
I am ready, sir.
The first audience member asked, Voch says this.
Oh, we're back to this.
I was the first one.
I can't. How long has it been since Voch says this?
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Because they won't let me do it at .com. But I can do Voch say, I can skip the line and do Voch says this
You can
here.
do it here. We'll let you do it here.
Bryan, Voch says this. Michael Parsons is gone. I don't even want to talk about him no more, right? Dak mad. He don't want to talk about him neither.
Yeah.
You may not be as good of a pass rush unit.
Right.
But does the balance benefit the Cowboys defense in the long run?
Interesting, because of what I think Matt Eberflus is going to have to do, and kind of looking at some of his tendencies.
Yes, sir.
His willingness not to play a lot of man coverage, not to blitz a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things about him and his scheme that leads you to believe that he's going to try and rely on these guys to get pressure. And he's going to have to rely on these guys, I think, when you start to talk about the and how he wants to play the front, how he wants to, does he want Ezraku as a guy that's moving around?
It's Micah like.
Does he want, how's he going to incorporate Sam Williams? Where's Fowler fit in all this? It's for a guy that just likes to play zone coverage. And maybe that'll change.
Sure.
Maybe that will change. Maybe he'll say, listen, I don't have good zone players, but I got to figure out ways to. I think that the guys that they have, I think they could put it together. It would be even better to me, of course, if it was Micah Parsons and the others.
Sure.
But I think that he's going to, if right off the jump, Voch, if you start to see that Ezraku is having success, that Fowler's having success, boy, I would feel much better about the situation that way.
Yeah, Brian, I think that your current coaches should take the cue from the last era of coaches. And I mean, an Eberflus should go back to Quinn's era and take some notes
Yes.
from him.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn was a notorious cover three guy.
Right.
We'll do some of this, some of that. We may or may not blitz, but this is what we are. Quinn gets here and goes, all right, we're going to play man coverage.
Right.
We're going to bring pressure here and there. We're going
Right.
to slant fronts, and this is who we are now. So Eberflus, notoriously, Brian, he may not be a guy that's going to do a bunch of blitzing.
No.
And we've heard rumors like, hey, man, we're going to rush forward and we're going to cover.
Right.
Mike is not here anymore. So
Right.
it might benefit Eberflus to be flexible now and go, hey, we may not have the pass rushers or the pass rusher that could free all the other guys up. So maybe I have to think of more blitzes. Maybe I have to move around some more guys, Brian. I think at the end of the day, the run game is in good hands. If you lose pass rush and go from an A+ to maybe a B-, your run defense, in my personal opinion, Brian, has gone from at least a D- to at least a C+.
Right.
We got to see, right? Nothing's official till we go out there versus Philly and Saquon Barkley got 50 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But, Flus has to make changes. Once upon a time, this was a defense that revolved around number 11. Now you got to use all the guys, and it'll be interesting to see how he does that.
Yeah, when we talked about Flus, I mean, last year 30th in the league when it came to man coverage snaps.
Sure.
So that's that number right there is, for a team that probably has guys that are better equipped, I think, to play man coverage. When you start to talk about Bland, you get Diggs back. We saw some things this team play in Voch in some zone in practice,
Sure.
giving up some plays in the preseason. We saw some zone coverage plays against, backup guys and stuff like that. But you just wonder, is he going to have to make an adjustment? You mentioned Dan Quinn. Is he going to have to make an adjustment like Dan Quinn did coming back into comments? I think he honestly is going to have to.
He has to, but luckily for him, I think those are good adjustments because, Brian, honestly, this might be the best team he's had. This might be the best group of guys that he's – and look, even without Micah, think about when he was with the Colts. You can't even name some of those guys. It was like Buckner and like Rocky Sin or something like that.
Yeah.
And I only know his name because of draft season, right, Brian? Or with the Bears defense really didn't come along until Montez Sweat got there, Bryan Broaddus.
Right.
So this is still a group that is one of the more talented ones that he has. But, Brian, I got another question from you.
Yeah.
For unapologetically P, he says this. P says this. If your last name is Eberflus.
Yes.
Zion Childress is a practice squad guy. We don't know what's going on.
Right.
Deron Bland just got his money, though, and when you get your money, you can line up anywhere. You won't even care.
Right.
Do you believe that Bland will stay in the slot based off the current depth chart?
It's a good question because to me, I was kind of thinking that maybe that they were looking at this as, okay, we like the rookie, but then all of a sudden he beats out Hall, and now you're in a situation where, okay, he's in the mix, and there we go. But they make the adjustment where they claim the two players.
Reddy and Weezy, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be Stewart.
Sure.
Off the jump. I think that maybe that he's going to go with a guy that he has some familiarity with the Bears or from the Bears. And with Stewart, I think that he likes the fact that he can play in the slot. That's kind of where I think Voch his best games are. But yeah, there's a couple of things on this team that makes me think, do you start a guy who's been with you all of training camp, or do you go with a guy that hasn't? And so with Flus, he might in fact decide that he needs to go with a guy that he has some familiarity with that's played in some league games.
Luckily for Dallas, Brian, Weezy and Reddy have been playing games.
They have been playing games.
You know what I mean? So they may not have been here, but they are in shape. I actually went back to watch. Kenny Clark played in the first game, versus the Jets or whatever. So everybody should be in shape. Everybody should
ready
be
to go.
good,
Right.
Except Michael Parsons, but he with the Packers or whatever.
Right.
That ain't our problem.
His back's okay there too.
His back is just fine. Boy, they got good medicine over there, don't they?
Excellent.
They got good water.
Yeah, excellent.
But I think Bland will maybe have to travel a little bit, depending on wherever Devontae Smith lines up. That's where Bland will have to go. I don't think there's just one answer. But the problem with how this room is put together, Brian, is Reddy is not an outside guy.
He's not an outside guy.
Weezy is a tall, long dude that can't play inside now.
Right.
So now you need, if Bland is going to travel, you need another versatile guy that can travel with him.
Right.
And that's going to be one of the issues there. And look, Jahan Dotson on the outside is not terrifying,
No,
but Devontae Smith on the inside is.
and that's where I think that to me that if you had to go take one of them away, I have a big fear of Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith.
Just because I feel like that he can go anywhere and make plays.
Route runner,
Yes.
deep ball guy,
Yes.
can run all the slants and all the down under stuff for sure.
Yes.
Ryan, let me ask you something, man. Let me just ask you this. TJRH, shouts out to you. TJRH says this: if Clark, which is Kenny Clark, I would say, if Kenny Clark isn't ready for Thursday, which I think he will be,
I think he'll be ready.
who gets more reps, JT or Mozzie? So let me just take this question and package it like this. He more than likely bumped Solomon Thomas down, correct, Bryan Broaddus?
Yeah.
Kenny Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now your new question is, how do you rotate Solomon, Winfrey, and Mozzie and Jay Toia?
Yeah.
And in real life, one of those guys aren't going to be active, Bryan.
Yeah.
Which of those guys aren't active, and what is your your D tackle flow chart looks like?
Man, that's a great question because to me, Winfrey went off the practice field yesterday with some back tightness. So is this something that the team is going to have to deal with going into this game? Hopefully today you get some good news about that. I kind of have a feeling that they're going to keep Mozzie active, and maybe Jay Toia is going to be the inactive one. I just kind of feel like that they'll go with, again, first game, go with the veteran guy. But to me, if you go Clark and then Winfrey is available, then I kind of feel like that's the route that would be the best for how they probably want to play this front. We'll see what happens with Philadelphia's injury report. You and I have talked about with Steen and how you would tack that and all. So, and I got some pushback from people like, oh no, Steen's been the talk of camp and all that. He's let me see that. Let me see that. But I think if I had to just guess right now, that Mozzie will probably be active and JT will probably not. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to pro Eagles people tell me Steen.
Oh, I know that's
because look, I'm excited about Perrion Winfrey, but
I am too.
But I'm not a fool enough to feel like he's gonna go out there and get 20 sacks this year or something like that. Talk of the camp don't mean nothing. Zion Childress is the talk of the camp. We are still going after Tyler Steen there. Bryan, let me ask you this: does your answer change week to week? So with it being week 1 and Saquon Barkley's the guy now,
right?
Do you now go, well, Toia's bigger, maybe we're doing some more run-stoppy things. Should Toia play over Mozzie? Or when we get to the Bears or something, they're going to more than likely throw the ball more. Is that when you get more Mozzie over Toia? Or is this thing so politicked up, Bryan, that Mozzie's going to be around?
I'm betting the fact that Mozzie played well against division opponents last year, that maybe there's something there. Okay. Maybe there's something I'm just going with the more experienced guy, maybe not the better player right now, but I'm going with the guy that they probably feel like, okay, we could put him in there. We've seen him play, we've seen him play against these division opponents and have some success. But as it goes along, if all of a sudden you get into the games and then Mozzie's in a situation where the stat lines are nothing but zeros, and you don't see him holding up blocks and stuff like that, absolutely, you're going to exchange those.
Bryan, we just talked about guys that are active or guys that are not going to be a part of the game day roster, right? How do we navigate some of these other units? We just talked about one tech, Bryan, but are they really going to go into the game with just 4 wide receivers and one of those guys being Turpin?
Yeah.
Think about the pass rusher group, right? Like those are 5 guys, right? Do they narrow that down to 4? If Mike is not here, do we have to keep 5 guys? What do you think from some of these other units, like some of the guys that are going to be game day ready and some that are going to have to sit out?
Yeah, I feel like, though, that when you're going to probably dress the 4 defensive tackles, and I think you're probably going to go with the 4 edges. I don't see them going 5 on that. And so that to me is going to be pretty set and pretty standard to how teams are going to operate.
So let's do a rapid fire round of, do you think they are in or out? James Houston.
I think James Houston is probably out.
Jay Toia.
I think he's out.
Ryan Flournoy.
I'm going to say he's in because of special teams.
Sure.
And like I say, they're going to need guys like, now depending on how many of these linebackers and secondary guys they use on special teams, but I'm going to think that Ryan Flournoy will probably be elevated and might be in.
Andrew Booth.
I think Booth would be out.
Johnny Cornelius.
I think he's out.
Okay, so that kind of gives us a feel
Yeah.
for what's going on.
Right. Right.
Honestly, Brian, if you look at it, the Cowboys only went heavy in 2 spots, really.
Right.
Like
But they've got all those defensive linemen.
They got a bunch of D linemen.
That's the problem is. So I think there's 12 defensive linemen right now, and so that's where a lot of these inactives are probably going to come from.
Right, we got another question from one of our beloved audience members. Revis King, shouts out to you, sir. He says, Brian, first and foremost, nice ring. Can you put it up to the camera so we can see it? This is what he said, bro. He said this yesterday, but he said, Brian, put your
my ring.
I guess he just knew you was gonna wear the ring.
I knew my ring. Yeah, I'm gonna wear
and
my
we
ring
got these
today.
new cameras. Whatever. But he says, nice ring, Brian. But he says, Voch. He says, Voch and Brian, should we go after running back Jonathan Taylor? And what are the players and draft picks involved to win the Super Bowl? Let me repackage that and say this. Jerry Jones said, and boy, Brian, that could be a lie or not. But Jerry Jones did say that it's possible that you could take those picks and package them to go and get players to help you win this year. Voch calls nonsense, because there are people saying, oh, let's send the first to get Bijan. Let's send the second to go get Jonathan Taylor. I don't think that there are any win-now moves that'll make the Cowboys lose a first-round pick that they love. Brian, what do you think the Cowboys are going to do with those first-round picks, or do they get a player this year? Do they save them and draft with them?
Yeah, I think, Voch, what's going to happen with those picks are they're going to save them for the draft. I don't see them – let's be real honest here. This is probably a Niner win team right now. And so to me, if it was a team that was a one player away where you can go out and make a difference, now we'll see. We get to the trade deadline. Maybe they've surprised us. Maybe they found a way to put together a bunch of wins. Maybe they're in the thick of this thing. I kind of feel like this is going to be one of those seasons where it's a win, it's a loss, it's a win, it's a loss. And, we kind of navigate it that way. They're never going to be good enough to go make a big deal. I think they keep these picks for the possibility of going into the draft, either moving up with those picks that way or trading them back, getting more picks, or just standing there and making a pick. They're going to hold these picks, I think, for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I agree, Brian. And I don't think the Cowboys want to miss an opportunity to get a good player and hold on to him for 5 years. And I think that's going to be something else that they're going to love about this. These are first-round picks.
Yeah.
So over these next 2 years, they're going to get 2 players that they can hold on to for 5 years. So,
right.
I don't think the Cowboys want to lose that on a player. But I will say, once upon a time when the Cowboys were in win-now mode and wide receiver was such an emergency, they did send a first-round pick to go get Amari Cooper.
Right.
But I think that this administration is kind of into keeping those picks, and they're trying to get.
Well, they realized, though, they went receiver by committee.
Yes, sir.
And they realized receiver by committee wasn't going to be good enough. Okay. And so that's when they made the move. Could they do with the running back? I think they're more interested in keeping these picks now than they were back then.
I think they was watching Notre Dame last night, and they said we're gonna go and get that.
That running back's pretty good. I took Notre Dame forever to get him the ball, but here we go.
And when they gave it to him,
everything worked out.
Brian, live audience that's here right now, I think this is a really good one. I want everybody to get ready for this one. Gary says this. He said, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
He says, which gap is bigger between Kenny Clark and the rest of the D tackle room and Micah Parsons and the rest of your pass rush room? I know where he's going with this, and he ain't put it in here, but I'm going to set it up with the rest of it.
It's Parsons to me.
Parsons
it's Parsons because Fowler can get you the double-digit sacks. But can Fowler get you – Micah Parsons, all the snaps that he plays, all the pressures.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody can generate pressure like that.
Sure.
And I think that you could get sacks. I don't think you could get the pressure. I think that Kenny Clark, though, I think he's clearly the best defensive tackle, especially when you talk about like the guys that are the one technique guys,
yes,
which he's going to play. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think the gap is bigger between Parsons and the other edges right now. Until we see what Donovan Ezeraku does.
Sure.
And maybe Sam Williams. I mean, I haven't seen Sam Williams show up yet. Sure. Like Sam Williams.
People are saying
Sam Williams needs to show up.
Brian, I think I'm gonna take the other side on that, and I want the audience, please go in the comments section because we got comments over here on the Crown Global YouTube page. I want y'all to go in the comments, and I want to hear what y'all have to say because I'm about to just disagree with Brian real fast when I say this. Micah is incredible.
Yes.
One of the better pressure guys in the whole league. You ain't wrong.
Sure.
At least we know that Dante Fowler is a double-digit sack guy.
Right.
That's cool.
Right. There's
an unknown with Donovan Ezeraku, but we'll still have to see. But we feel good about him. We know that James Houston in the league has gotten 8 sacks before. Then he got hurt, whatever. Sam, we'll see, right? I think this defensive tackle room was so bad, Brian. Just hear me out. And I thought about this last night. This defensive tackle room was so bad that we were excited about Solomon Thomas, Brian.
Sure.
Think about it like that. You know, Solomon Thomas isn't some world beater, right? Like, he was just simply better than what you had, and he was so pivotal to what we're doing, he didn't even play in preseason games.
Right.
In real life, let me look at the camera and say, in real life, Solomon Thomas ain't all that. But he was much better than Mozzie. He was much better than your young guys, Brian.
Right.
I think Kenny Clark is so much better than Solomon Thomas. So much better than Mozzie Smith. Jay To'e is a rookie, but he's 330 or something like that, and that's going to be his set. But he's so much better than him. Brian, it sounds crazy. I still, with Micah not being here, feel okay about this pass rush group. Without Kenny Clark being here, we felt terrible about this group of tackles.
Yeah, but we felt better about with like, okay, if you played Winfrey over Mozzie,
sure.
You know, that was my hope
Sure.
that it was going to be Solomon Thomas, it was going to be Winfrey, it was going to be, you know, once we started. I mean, we went into full on panic mode when Winfrey, we started hearing whispers, oh wait, Winfrey got cut.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Cowboy Nation basically just shut down and thinking, yeah. So to me, I kind of feel like though that if you told me for this scheme and how Matt Eberflus wants to play, I kind of feel like that Winfrey is just right there below Kenny Clark when it comes to it. And I know that's maybe crazy to say. I just feel like though they're going to have to figure out how to get pressure, and they're going to have to figure out how to get sacks without Micah Parsons.
I think
I just think the gap is a little bit more pronounced there.
And which it is a humongous gap. You ain't wrong. But I think Clark better than Osa, Brian. That's just where I'm at with. I think Clark is more powerful than Osa.
Yeah.
I think he's a better pass rusher than Osa. He's gotten more sacks than Osa.
Right.
And I've seen Clark like take a game over. That Lions game on a
the
bad
Rams
toe.
game was excellent too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. You're right.
Like Green Bay, I've seen Clark take games over. I can only hope that he does that here in Dallas, Bryan Broaddus. But I just think, like, compared to what we had first, we were banking on a USFL cat, Mozzie Smith, and damn Solomon Thomas prior to Kenny Clark getting here. But I don't know. We'll see. Smalls HD, shouts out to you, sir. Smalls HD says this: your last name is Schottenheimer.
Right.
We go out there versus the Eagles on Thursday around 7:25. You win the coin toss. You get the ball first, or you get the ball to Philly first.
I kick. I'm always interested. Like I say, I don't want to have to send my offense out there. I mean, to me, I kind of feel like though, listen, there are ways to play this at certain places when you go on the road. You get the ball to start the second half, everybody's still in the concession areas getting hot dogs and burgers and beers and stuff. Sure. So all of a sudden, say somehow, and you've got this Brandon Aubrey as a kicker, you get the ball before the half. Say you get a late field goal, you get points that way, and then you double dip and get the ball back with no crowd in the audience, and then take advantage of that again. Give me the double dip opportunity on the road. You know, at home, I'm a little bit more likely to take the football. On the road, I want to play defense first.
I agree. Those guys just won a Super Bowl, Brian. There's going to be a lot of energy in that room.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give energy to the unit that benefits with energy, which is the Eagles defense. Make those guys sit down for a little bit, drink some water, and kick it, and let Jalen Hurts go out there.
Right.
Also, too, Brian, I would love for the Cowboys to be super aggressive on offense, but I don't want a track meet necessarily, because I still don't feel great about Cowboys defense get into a track meet type deal with the Eagles offense. Like, those guys are still A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. I don't want to keep giving them the ball every time. You know what I mean? But I do want to be aggressive. I like how Dak mentioned it. He says, hey, we're going to go after those guys.
Right.
I don't think that means just, we're going to go out here first, and because if you're 3 and out, then that is a whole
number 3 and outs in this game will be a disaster.
Yeah.
That would be an absolute disaster. You cannot keep putting your defense out there on the field against this offense. This is, in a way, a bad matchup for the Cowboys defensively. Yeah. At least having to figure out things. It'd be nice if Diggs and others were available to play in this game, but they're not likely. So you got to figure it out, though.
You kind of mentioned it earlier, Brian, but I want to give you an opportunity if you had a little more on it. Bill says this. He says down the road, Demo comes back.
Right.
Is he going to be a guy that does Micah type things for you?
Yeah.
I want to repackage this question as to say, you think Donovan Ezraku is going to be that guy?
I think that Donovan Ezraku is the guy initially that's going to be the guy that they want to move around. We saw some elements of Matt Eberflus. He was trying to do some things with the mug. We say mug, the double A gap blitz look. That's something that Micah was really, really good at. The more that you could get Donovan Ezraku on one-on-one with players, I think is the best thing to have happen. We'll see with I would love to have like Overshown in this game because Voch, I mean, if you go back and watch the Philly game last year that was played in Dallas, he was a factor.
He was.
He was a factor. They got him on some one-on-one stuff coming through the middle of the defense, and he was a real factor in this game. And they're going to need to find somebody like that, and maybe Ezraku is that guy.
Bryan, Voch says this. I had an opportunity to listen to Dak talk to the media the other day, and I was so encouraged to hear his business-like mindset behind it. You know, he was just like, hey, man, it's over with. We on to Philly. Hey, I mean, we sent him a text, told him good luck. We ain't cry about it. We ain't get in a circle and go kumbaya. Hey, bro, it's over with. Oh, I love to have Kenny Clark here. Kenny Clark's about his business. Let's da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Not even from a messy side. Like, we ain't trying to be messy right now, but I am super encouraged that Dak is like, no, Michael, fine. We still got to go play Philly and go get after it, Bryan Broaddus. What did you take away from Dak's comments there?
Yeah, no, I feel like that Dak is, he's always going to be able to. They're going. The media tries to pin him down on some stuff, and he, you could tell he was interested in just moving on. The word he said is business. It's a business, and we all should understand it's a business. And as a locker room, we should look at that and say, listen, if that could happen to him, the rest of us need to kind of be on alert right there. So to me, I just felt like that he was excited about the opportunity with the game plans as they were putting things together. He was excited with his offensive linemen, his new guys. He was excited with George Pickens. He was trying to talk things up as, listen, this is going to be, hey, we're going to have to, with the group that we have, we're going to have to find a way to go win these football games. Micah, great. He's a great teammate, all those things. Hey, he's no longer here. And let's, he even said that, someone asked him the question, hey, do you have to admit, as a captain, do you have to have a talk? He's like, no, you don't have to have a talk. No, this is something that didn't warrant having to have that kind of discussion with anybody. It's a business. You move on and you start to play the game from there.
And if anything, Bryan Broaddus, is, you would think that it's week one. It's a lot of pressure. There's Super Bowl champ. But Dak is probably comfortable against those guys. Like Dak has played against those guys. He's won a ton of games against those dudes. So it's not like you're playing some team that
that venue too.
He's whooping Philly in Philly.
Right.
He's known for it.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, this is some unknown team that we haven't played before. We have to dial in on it.
Right.
They've been talking about Philly for weeks when normally you talk about Philly for 5 days and they'll still go out there and play well. I think Dak is fine. It was really encouraging to hear his side.
Yeah, to me, Dak always seems to handle things well. Dak could tell you that Team X they've got a good defense. They got good secondary. They're well coached. All those things. He's always going to kind of say that. But I think that I think he's to the point. Like, listen, I'm grateful that we have a resolution here.
Sure.
It's not going to carry into the season. It would be a distraction. And no, it's no longer a distraction. We can all move on and we can all go play football.
For sure. Brad says this. How did you two initially meet and then decide to team up together? Can I make an assumption of what I think happened, Bryan?
Go ahead.
Because I don't know what the hell happened. Bryan Broaddus just reached out to me one day. I don't know. But I was working in Cowboy Land, and I've been a fan of Bryan Broaddus. I'm 33 now. So when I was a Pizza Hut driver and I was doing all this other little stuff and I was working my little jobs, I was listening to Bryan Broaddus and Dave Hellman and Kevin. I'm friends with all those guys now.
Yeah.
But the one thing I always wanted was for Bryan Broaddus to follow me on Twitter. I was like, man, come on, man. I just kept checking. And Bryan followed everybody on Twitter. Bryan, like, man, why Bryan not follow? But he followed. I just wanted Bryan Broaddus to follow me on Twitter, right? That's all I ever wanted. And one day, damn, Bryan Broaddus followed me on Twitter. I don't know why, but it is, and I don't even know what happened after that.
Yeah.
It's just a blur. I met you at Concrete Cowboy.
Right.
You sat at this table.
Right.
With some blueprints of this place.
Yep.
And you was like, this the game. All y'all ain't got to come if you don't want to.
Right.
Don't quit your job, but this the game.
Right.
And I just know I'm here, and that's just kind of where we at with it.
No, absolutely. I think that.
Also, one more thing. I feel like you've been testing me for the last year to see if this.
Oh, I have.
Okay, I didn't mean.
have.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Good confirmation. Please go ahead.
No, I think to me the thing that I I think your audience is outstanding. And I don't know if my audience and your audience, but I love the fact of how they've kind of meshed.
Sure.
And I love the fact that your audience, to the point, has accepted me in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I've been a real admirer of your work from afar. Stuff we did on the radio station, DallasCowboys.com. I always wanted to get you on the draft show.
Sure.
Was another one because I admire your work for that. So it actually just kind of naturally, you're right, we all got together and we had an idea about how we were going to create this. And once I was able to kind of get everything in motion, you were one of the first ones that I wanted to be a part of this. So
Sure.
here we are today. Yeah, how about that?
Put that on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us here on this beloved inaugural episode of the Doing All Right. Y'all be sure to follow all the pages, hit sub, hit like, all this kind of stuff. Follow us on social medias. Like us over there. Follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI, and that's BRYN Broaddus. We're going to do this every day, Monday through Friday at whenever the hell it come out Central, and we'll be breaking down film on this big, lovely board back here, all right? We love y'all to peace. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski. Till next time, crown.